Hey, Tom Lounge is here on the X 103.9, and on the phone with me is Bob Zany. Not only is Bob a favorite on the Bob and Tom Morning Show here on the X 103.9, he's also been in films like The Informant and Joe Dirt, and he's a stand-up comic and, well, just a stand-up guy as well.
Tommy, pleasure. It's always great to work with a pro.
Well, then why are you working with me?
I threw you off. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to compliment you.
Okay. How are things in L.A.? You're calling in from sunny L.A., and it's a rainy day here today in the region, cold and wet, and I'm sure you're basking in a bikini brief somewhere.
Yeah, it's an actual bikini. I hate wearing the brief ones. But actually, I was wearing a thong last week backwards, and that's not very comfortable.
Doesn't sound like it.
I'm a guy who thinks things through. But, it's going to be 80 today in L.A., but the wind chill factor is going to be 85, so don't worry.
Sounds like a subject for a new T-shirt. You're known for your T-shirts, of course.
Very much so. The one I really want to do, and we're still waiting, is I slept with Bob Zany during his show. I think it's a dig on me. I'm not sure.
It's kind of like the follow-up to the
The
crickets.
one that won the contest was the Zany report. 1 million crickets can't be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a classic
They really
one.
can if you think about it.
You're coming back to the region. It's been a while since you've been here. You'll be back part of the Aprilfoolooza comedy concert, the Dirty Joke Show at Star Plaza Theater on Friday, April 1st. Tickets for that show are on sale at Star Plaza's box office or online at starplazatheater.com or ticketmaster.com. Let's talk a little bit about the Dirty Joke Show, Bob Zany.
Well, I'm just very excited. I'm working with Jackie the Joke Man Martling, as you know, and Jackie and I actually performed together at Madison Square Garden a few years back, but not actually the Garden. They used to section off the stairwell, and they do a comedy show in it. So that's the first time I met him. And then Geechee Guy, of course, I've known Geechee for years, and Geechee is the reason why I'm thinking about therapy myself.
I just saw him not too long ago on the Craig Ferguson show, and that was my first time actually seeing him perform. I've heard him on Bob and Tom, of course, but first time ever seeing him perform. What a character.
Geechee's a funny guy. I mean, this is a great show, it's a real dichotomy of stand-ups, too. You have me doing whatever I do. I still don't know what I do, but I seem to be doing it well.
Now, Geechee actually kind of came up with this. As I understand it, it's like an ensemble, like an off-Broadway theater comedy kind of piece. How does this work? Are you guys scripted? Is it all off the cuff, impromptu? How's it work?
I think, you know what, to be honest with you, I think he's going to just point to me and I go. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually in Vegas next week at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at Tropicana, and Geechee's just around the corner with the Dirty Joke Show, so I'm going to check that out at Hooters. By the way, Tom, I saw a sign that said Hooters for breakfast, and I'm thinking that's not a bad idea. I like a little milk in my coffee.
There you go. Put some gravy on your biscuits.
I love talking to you, Tom, because your head, you're going, okay, I can edit this. I can get rid of this part. That won't be family-friendly. We're talking about the Dirty Joke Show.
That's right.
How far can I go?
That's right. It's a Dirty Joke Show. Now, as I understand it, kind of takes place, the scenario, the scenery is the backstage area of a comedy club, an alley, like you're out there having a beer and a smoke, and you guys are telling dirty jokes, and it's kind of an ensemble piece, as I mentioned. Have you ever done this before with him?
I haven't done this with him, but, Bing Crosby, who I do every week, does, the live version. He does really filthy jokes, and people are shocked. But I always tell them, Bing is dead, so it doesn't matter.
Well, you're the Senator Bingle.
That's right. And, I like, when that's the best time, people say, well, which comedians make you laugh? It's the ones off stage when and this is our way of jamming, with our vocal cords, where musicians get together with their instruments and jam. We just go off and, just do jokes and play off one another.
Now, is the whole concert coming to the Star, is it all this scenario, or are you guys going to branch off, maybe do half of it that way, and then maybe do individual stand-ups so you can get some of your own material out there? Or how's this working?
I want to sing. I'm a singer. It's who I am, and it's what I'm about. I'm kidding. I think you're going to see a lot. This is going to be one of the best shows just because of the fact that we are going to be, look, if you go to the Dirty Joke Show and get offended, maybe you shouldn't have gone in the first place. Right.
So we should emphasize that this is intended for mature audiences or really, really immature audiences.
I would go with the latter. I can relate to that.
It's going to be.
By the way, speaking of immature, this Charlie Sheen guy.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is interesting. He's trying to shop around a tell-all book. Tom, I'm no expert, but what don't we know about him?
That's true.
You know what I mean? He'll be lucky if he can write 2.5 pages.
Now, this is going to be at Star Plaza Theater. It's a beautiful venue. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's 3,400 seats, great stage. Anywhere in the room is a great view. It's April 1st. I mean, is this Kismet or what? I mean, or was it planned?
I would go with Kismet for 500, Alex. I'm sure it was planned. Maybe that's a big day in comedy. I know April Fool's Day. We usually sit around my house and watch old tapes of my act. No, we don't. We sit around erasing old shows I used to do.
Fixing the joke.
Fixing the joke. People love to do that. It's utterly amazing to me that every joke I've written has an opportunity to be reworked. But a lot of people do with the Fix the Joke Baby segment, which is interesting, is they update the joke. Because if you read a joke 3 years ago, the punchline was, topical.
Yeah, like Charlie Sheen.
So
3 years from now, it won't matter.
Charlie who? That's what we'll be doing. It's a tough business. I wouldn't recommend it. Right now, Vanilla Ice is sitting around with Matt LeBlanc going, what happened?
What started the Fix the Joke? That is a unique bit that you do, and I got to salute you for it, because a lot of comics wouldn't stand the scrutiny. You welcome it.
Well, it was interesting. It was more of an ad-lib from Tom after a joke had bombed. He said, you should have people fix your jokes, Bob. And I think he was just joking around, and I said, that's not a bad idea. And we set up the contest at the website, and this goes back to 2000. So, I mean, this is really just as popular as the segment itself. So, why? I'll tell you what. It's one thing that I learned after writing jokes for many years is that people, there's so many people out there. There's no way someone's not kind of thinking of the same thing. So, and I find that out through the Fix the Joke, because some people write the same punchline in 5 different states, unless they're all networking.
Mm-hmm. If you just tuned in, this is the X1039. I'm Tom Lounges. On the phone with me, Bob Zany, familiar voice and face with the Bob and Tom Show, and he's part of the big Aprilfoolooza comedy concert coming to Star Plaza Theater in Maryville on April Fool's Day, Friday, April 1st. Tickets on sale for this 8 p.m. show at Star Plaza's box office, at Ticketmaster locations, or online at Ticketmaster.com or StarPlazaTheater.com. And Bob, let's talk a little bit about how you tied in with this particular show. Is this going to be multiple dates, or is this a one-off project with Geechee Guy and Jackie Martin?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the response is for this. There's really potential for this to be all over the place, because a lot of people really enjoy the format. So I know it's been very popular in Las Vegas. So even the Blue Man Group goes out.
Right.
I'll be in town somewhere. I'll be like in St. Louis and go, the Blue Man Group, aren't they supposed to be in Vegas? So Penn and Teller go out. They have their Vegas show, and then they go out and do this. So that's kind of cool about that.
Now, how did they approach you to this? How did you tie in? You're a real busy guy. I mean, you're on Bob and Tom 49 weeks a year. You do movies, you do TV, you're always on the road doing stand-up. How did they contact you and work this out?
They actually paged me and then sent a fax. I'm kidding. They called me. Geechee and I know each other, so he has my cell phone number. But after this, I might erase it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's how I roll.
Dirty Joke
now,
Show.
Tom, I'm very excited. I don't know if you know about my documentary coming out.
Last time we talked, you were filming a documentary, as I recall, over your 30-year career. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Close But No Cigar. It's a look at everything I've done in show business, kind of like, it's interesting. You mentioned Fix a Joke. This is kind of like a primer for people who want to go into show business going, well, what do I need to do? Well, we kind of discussed that. And then, and also discuss my career path and why maybe I'm not Drew Carey fame yet, but I've been consistent and made a living at it. So it's really cool. And we're in the LA Film Festival at the end of the month, so that's exciting.
So it's actually done and produced. It's all ready to go.
It's all ready to go. We've got a producer's rep, as they call them. They're shopping it around, so we'll see what happens. But we also have that along with the 1-hour special of I Can't Stop the Gift Baby.
How long have you been working on this?
It's been about 2 years, and it's actually, I've been kind of the subject matter, and I've had some input, but the director's Jay Kanzler, so he's been really involved. He's the one who's put all the blood and sweat into this thing. So, and we were actually, as a work in progress in the St. Louis Film Festival, and had a really great response and great reviews, so that was cool.
Now, it'll be coming out on video or going to screens?
We're not sure yet.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get on like cable, and folks will see it that way, and then, of course, it'll be available for purchase, and then the way the kids are today is, download it,
All right. They can keep up with all this at bobzany.com?
Yes, there's actually a trailer for the film right there. And again, the technology keeps changing, Tom, so I'm trying to keep up with the kids right now. I'm right now downloading all my 8 tracks to cassette. I want to do it slowly. Yeah, just in case the CD thing doesn't take off.
You're on Bob and Tom, as I understand, 49 weeks a year, and you've been doing the show longer than anybody else other than Bob and Tom and the cast there. About 10 years. How did you land that job and it became a regular bit?
It's actually been 13 and a half.
Really? Okay. I stand corrected.
Well, I just went into the studio, and I had been doing the Zany Report on various different stations, and I told Tom, I said, I do this thing. You mind if I try it? And he said, okay. And they really liked it, and he said, well, you want to do it again? I said, yeah, but let me do it, the same time every week so we can build up an audience. He said, okay, and the rest is history.
Wow. Yeah, that's a long time to be doing it, and it's still one of my favorite bits. When you're on, it's like I make a point to tune in, and something that was unique, and I'm sure you covered in your documentary, you made your stage debut in front of millions of people on The Gong Show, as I recall.
That's right. It was 1977. I had just turned 16, but as you know, in show business, you don't just get the job, you have to audition. So for like 2 months, I was auditioning, and they finally said yes. And then I think it was like 3 or 4 days after my 16th birthday, I was on The Gong Show as a stand-up, and I'd never performed ever in front of an audience. And to be rewarded for that, a man dressed like a nun with a mustache with a big net pulled me off stage during my act. Well, when you look at the tape, it's almost surreal. It's almost like you're watching, because it was 30-something years ago. And you watch this and you go, is that really me? And did it really happen? I mean, that's how I'm sure anyone else will look at it and go, will have their own feelings. And that's what this film has invoked in the people. It's like, I'm getting like responses not like, oh, I really like it, and that was it. They always say, I like it. And then they would talk about scenes in the film that really kind of went, wow, I had no idea. And it moved them.
You also did Star Search. You did Last Comic Standing. You've done a lot of television and a lot of competition shows. How has that been as far as, again, advising young comics maybe thinking of doing this for a career? Obviously, there's a lot of heartbreak. Well,
it's all a crapshoot, this business. I'm learning it through the festival system, too, because, like Sundance turned down the film, and when he sent me the rejection, I said, I guess we live up to our title. But then if you do the math, they got 6,500 submissions, and they pick 187 films. So the odds of getting in are really great, and you almost even wonder if they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times you sit down and watch 6,500 films.
Not lately. I don't have enough popcorn in the cabinet.
You would need 3,000 people to watch them, even if they had the time.
Right. 30 years plus of doing stand-up. What inspired you to pursue this? I mean, George Carlin, class clown, and some people do it to kind of fit in. What was your inspiration? What was the shoehorn that got you into the laughter business?
Well, I'll tell you what it was. My dad was a house painter, and he wanted me to follow in his footsteps. So I think that was my motivating factor.
You didn't want to paint houses.
Not house painting, but I'll tell you, it's a lot of work, baby.
Any regrets at this point, looking back over this 30 years and making this film? And as you mentioned, you're not quite where the Drew Careys are, but you're certainly a lot farther than where a lot of people are. You're on national radio.
I don't believe in regrets because I think things happen for a reason, so you have to learn from them. I think it was Socrates who said, isn't that sad you got quiet? Like, I'm going to quote Socrates, Tommy. Like I'm educated. How about that? But it was Plato who said, I come in 4 colors and make sure you put the caps back on. You just don't hear enough good Plato jokes anymore.
That's true. At the Dirty Joke Show, again, getting back to that Aprilfoolooza, coming to the Star Plaza Theater, 8 p.m. on April 1st, along with Jackie the Jokeman Martling and Geechee Guy. Do you know how long the actual show is?
I think it's at least a 90-minute show, unless Geechee... maybe I can dress up like a nun with a big net and pull Geechee off at some point.
Now, that would be interesting.
Yeah, but this is what's going to happen. That's the beauty of the show. You don't know what's going to happen. Now, well, you're going to be in a back alley, and then you're going to be pushing a shopping cart and saying, "Hey guys."
Yeah, I'll be the bag lady with a mustache. With a mustache. Last time you were in town, I was kind of your straight guy getting your drinks, if you remember. I was running back and forth to the bar.
But I'm glad you do.
Well, you were drinking them, and I was
serving them.
them.
All I remember telling you is that I'm in AA, and you said, "Here, let me get you a drink to celebrate." That's all I remember.
That was a lot of fun. Chick McGee was with you at that show, and we had a good time. A lot of the X-Rock listeners came out, and it was months back, and it's going to be great to have you back in the region again.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait, and hopefully the snow will be officially gone, and the groundhog was right.
Well, we've had our share of snow, and it's been a rough winter, and maybe you'll bring a little bit of that L.A. sunshine with you.
If not, I'll bring it with my smile. How's that, Tommy?
There you go, and make sure you wear that backwards thong.
I wear my thong and will guess which way it's put on.
All right. Again, keep up with Bob Zany online at bobzany.com. You can see him live on stage with Geechee Guy and Jackie the Jokeman Martling on April 1st, an 8 p.m. concert at Star Plaza Theater in Maryville. Tickets on sale at starplazatheater.com, at Ticketmaster.com, or you can pick them up at the box office if you feel like making a little drive down to Maryville. Bob, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you'd like to? Anything new on your plate? We mentioned you've done some films in the past and television. Any of that coming up anytime soon?
Well, I got, like I said, the documentary Close But No Cigar, and hopefully after that will be followed up by the hour special.
Okay.
But as of today, I'm very excited. I'm going to be mowing both my lawns. So
Ooh.
There you go.
All right. Well, we'll let you get to that.
I don't like to brag, but I am.
All right. Bob, thank you so much
for
joining
Tommy.
us.
Good to talk to you, man.
All right. We'll see you April 1st.
And I'll see you that night, right?
Yep. I'll be there.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.